Hey everybody, it's Anna Francisco. Today I'm going to be doing my presentation on children's literature math lesson. So let me do that for you. Okay, so from the beginning. Okay, so our lesson, this is going to be called Count the Monkeys. It's going to be called Count the Monkeys because the story is actually called Count the Monkeys. Our content standard is understand the relationship between numbers and quantities, connect counting to cardinality. When counting objects, say the number names in the standard order, pairing each object with one and only one number name and each number name with one and only one object, one-to-one correspondence. So learning target is I understand the relationship between numbers and can connect counting to cardinality. The prior knowledge that they should know for this lesson would be to recognize numbers, identify animals, count, cut with scissors, use glue, and color. The teaching strategies I will be using will be teacher modeling, group discussion, small group discussion, learning charts, student practice, and sorting worksheet. Introduction to lessons. So I'm going to try and engage the students by asking them the question, what are you scared of, or what has scared you before? Because in our story, all these different animals keep running away from different things that scare them. So after I ask them that question and we get a couple answers, I'm gonna show the kids some of the things in the stories and ask them if they would be scared of these certain animals or people. I will activate their prior knowledge by going over numbers 1 through 10 in a whole group lesson that will help with the whole group activity and their small group activity. I'll introduce our standard learning targets in the beginning and the end of our lesson by stating the book and explaining how this book will help us reach those goals. I will introduce vocabulary by writing it on the smartboard and reviewing it before the story. There are some words in here that I feel like can be a little tricky, so I'm going to try and review those so there's no confusion. The book we will be reading is called Count the Monkeys by Mac Barnett. So this is our story. I don't know if any of you guys have read it before, but it is a hilarious story. It's about all these, they're trying to look for monkeys, but the monkeys ran off, and there's different things that all these different animals are running off of, or these different people are running off from. So like the first one, I believe, is a cobra. Yeah. So number 1 is a cobra, and they all have these big numbers here so they can know what number is next because it should be in order. And all these different animals, I like that it's a very interactive book. So when we're getting rid of the lumberjacks, it says give each lumberjack a high five and then turn the page so we can count the monkeys. And it's very interactive and fun for the kids. And then at the end, there's all these monkeys we found and we get to count. So it's a really cool interactive book and great for this math lesson. So for teaching procedures part 1, first, we will have a group discussion about what scares us, what scared us before, and then we will talk about the different animals or people in our story and ask if those scare us too. We're going to see a short video on mongooses because it's in the story, and I've never heard of one before until this book. And I think these kids are these kindergartners because it's a kindergarten standard. I'm not sure if they have either. So I got this very, very short clip on it so they can be informed on it, so it can become prior knowledge. And then we'll go over vocabulary words. I picked the word swarm because there's a bee swarm, then beekeepers because I'm not sure if they know what that is, and a lumberjacks because I don't know if kindergartners know what that is either. After that, we'll read the story. For part 2, we will read the interactive story and I'll have them turn to their carpet partners and I will have them talk about who their favorite person or animal in the story was. After about 2 minutes, we will share and then we will review the numbers 1 through 10 for our next assignment. By reviewing the numbers 1 through 10, we're going to have, I plan on having them not in regular order. I would like to have them in a scattered order to make sure that everybody knows how to recognize their numbers. I feel like what we would do is play a little game on the numbers on the bulletin board or on the chalkboard. For part 3, this is a little chart I made up. So what I want to do is I will have it labeled 1 through 10, both with the wording and both with the numbers. And I put cobra, mongoose, crocodile, because these are all the different animals or things we'll be seeing within the book. And since it's numbered, I would like for us to have counters. With these counters, I will have whatever animal it is. So number 1 will be, have a cobra. I'll have 1 cobra. And I want the kids to be interactive with me while we read the story. I would like for them to take that counter and put it or tape it to where it goes under which number, under which spot for the our chart together. So we will try and read it very slowly so we can all have a turn to be able to put it up there correctly and in the correct category, depending on the number, which they will see the number in the story, and they should be able to recognize it on our board, either through word or the numeral that they see. So for part 4, what I decided to do is I'm going to have them have the same exact chart that I created, except it's going to have one more column and it's going to have a question mark on it for the end. So the 11th column will have a question mark. So what I'll do is they're going to have the exact same format. They're going to have, instead of counters that have the pictures on it, they're going to have actual pictures to cut out, which is why they need to know how to use scissors. And they will place it in the correct area. So if we have number 1 for the king cobra, they cut out the king cobra, they put the 1 king cobra there because that's all there was in the story. And then for 2, with whatever number 2 was, they will do the same exact thing, and so forth. For our last one, which is the question mark, that will be the number of monkeys, which is why I posted the picture, the number of monkeys and how many monkeys we ended up seeing at the end, which I believe the number is 42. So after they count it and they're able to tell us that the number is 42, we're going to help write the number 42 instead of actually cutting out 42 monkeys, and write out the number 42 in that slot. They will be accompanied by a teacher if they need any help, of course, but so that will be our special number at the end. And if they're done with all that, they're able to color in any of the pictures that they have. So for the closure of lesson, we will regroup and restate our standard learning target. I understand the relationship to numbers and counting, connect counting to cardinality. I'll explain to them that we did this by grouping manipulatives with correct numbers, forming both numerical and word sense. I feel like this definitely helps with one-on-one correspondence because they will understand, okay, the 1 king cobra goes with the number 1 and the 2 mongoose go with the number 2, just to get that number sense idea. I'll explain to them that they succeeded by grouping correctly and knowing how many should go in each category based on the amount and matching afterwards. For the assessment, I will be a formative assessment. The teacher will observe who is understanding the concept on the carpet during their group time. So whenever I'm teacher modeling, when we are doing our big group, our group assignment together, I'll be seeing who's getting the concept and who isn't. For those who need a little help, will get the help as they need. Anyone that I see during their individual assignment is not actually getting it, I might turn this to a summative assignment, so then afterwards I can look over and see what is stumbling them and how I can help. With this assignment, we're trying to learn how to understand the relationship between numbers and counting. So there may be a few misconceptions with numbers 8 and 9, because both of them are lumberjacks, but one of them obviously gains another lumberjack because they decided to stick around because they weren't scared off that easily. Modifications or accommodations I would use is for anyone with vision impairment, I would have them sit in the front of the carpet for carpet time when they watch the video. I'll make sure that the numbers are big and bold whenever we do our big chart, and make sure that the counters I create are very big and coherent so they can see. I'll give the students a magnifying glass if they need it when they do their individualized work, if they're trying to compare to the work we did on the carpet. While counting the monkeys, I felt like it'd be a great idea to give them an actual counter to put over the monkey's face, because it was a lot of monkeys, so they don't get too overwhelmed while counting. For any children who are at ELL, I will provide the number written in Spanish for them if that makes things easier. Beforehand, I will communicate with them certain words and what they mean in the book, because I don't know if mongoose or lumberjack is something that may be too overwhelming for them. For their individual assignment, I will try and have their paper look different. So under number 1, I would have actual picture of a cobra for them to actually match. But I would only like to do that. I would have them try out the first one first before I try and have them try this one out first. It depends on them and where they're at. And that is the end of my lesson. Thank you.